had $1 for every time I hooked up a piece of equipment, I still wouldn't be able to retire.
I'm ready, but I have no idea what we're doing. I need the Swede. Where's the Swede?
We're just out here getting it done.
Do you need to seek medical attention?
I think so.
I might lose my temper.
That's a prostate.
You'll find out.
Forward! That didn't take much.
Larson?
You never know what we're gonna get into, right, Dougal? Ah! You're in the rhubarb! I'm having fun. Is today the day? Today the day?
Get stuck?
Well, no, shouldn't. But today is the day. We're gonna go get the field cultivators because we think there's enough frost that we won't mud everything all to pieces.
And then where do we park them on the yard? In the snowdrift? Holy cow, you should warn me before I didn't have my
I gotta show them what you purchased here.
My old bar. Is it yours or is it mine?
I don't know. It was one of them deals that he couldn't say no to. But I don't know what we need it for.
Well, if we don't need it, for sale. 64-foot galvanized dock.
So a friend of his or ours called us up. You want a dock? It's cheap. Okay. He couldn't say no, so now we have a dock that I don't know what we're gonna do with. Okay, go get that other tractor. I think he's got it running.
You want, what is it, 450 or?
600 number 2.
600 number 2 coming up.
Alright. Check out my hitch pin. Yeah, you're good. We got all of our wiring. This is AccuDepth plug that's seen better days. You are going for the 64-footer.
I don't know where
Big
that's parked.
I think that's the one in the field. I said that we were never going to park diggers
Not
in the field, and then we did.
It's on the edge of the field.
Okay. I think that's 58. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Alrighty, I parked that one back in the shed because we don't have a field cultivator for that one. That one was on the Halo last spring. It'll probably be on the 4200 this spring. This was on the ProForce last spring. I don't think we're gonna be hooked up to that this year. I think that's gonna be a land roller, maybe the second digger, or I'm not sure yet. But today we're starting out by getting the 2 main diggers back to the yard and out of the mud holes they're parked in. I'd hate to run out on the way over there. So although it don't look like we'll be going to the field anytime soon, and we probably won't be due to what it looks like, we gotta have our equipment hooked up and ready to go, because it tends to, once it switches and goes to, you know, 70, 80 degree days, which I see in the 10-day forecast, the snow leaves, the fields are gonna open up, dry up pretty quick, and we need to have the field cultivators ready for when that happens, not stuck out in the mud until it's ready. You know what I'm saying. So, welcome to our second yard. Nothing too fancy about this one. We just park everything over here. Here's the 45-footer. This is going to not come home today. I think we can get it out even when it thaws up. But this one probably is pulled by the 9530. Oh, this yard has seen better days, as you can tell. Looks like we have one sitting there. Which one is that one? I think that's the big one. I think that's the one Brody's going for. And then we have one sitting here. Unique parking spot. But if it fits, it ships, I guess. Honestly, I don't even know which one is which. Is this the big one? They all look the same. Ooh. Shift before the gas. Shift before the gas. This is definitely the smaller one, I believe. I think I can tell by these extensions here don't go to the center as far. This must be the 58 footer. I think you, Brody, are the one over by that little shed. The chicken coop, I believe, is what it is. We gotta go up. What do we start with?
This is the one I struggled with last year.
I think we may need a assistant big plier. Ah,
You might have to wait.
hopefully it raises. Oh, I guess it is raised. All right, I'll go help Dad hook up. Looks like the tires are all good on that one, or on the main frame anyways, enough to get back to the farm. You're getting it.
Oh yeah. If I had $1 for every time I hooked up a piece of equipment, I still wouldn't be able to retire.
I was gonna say,
There's some,
$1,000 don't get you far nowadays.
There's some carnage on the tractor.
What's that mean?
The mirror is cracked. We gotta go home and fix.
That happened in the
Shut her
tornado
down.
3 years ago.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Why didn't we get that under insurance?
We didn't get a lot of things under insurance.
Yeah, that was not a profitable event. What's that red thing sticking out of?
The seal,
Why is that doing that?
it's junk. Looks like nice.
So you got the air compressor wet?
No,
What's wrong?
I don't know. They look like they're up, but
Mine are all
that
good.
one's pretty low. You can tell by how it's flat on the top. As you can tell by the ground, it's already starting to thaw out. The sun, it's got some power already. I think we are good. That one is talking. I had trouble hooking the AccuDepth up to that one. We'll work at that when we have some tools to work with at the farm. Well, Brody made it home. Dad did not. He needs air, so I'm heading back to give him some air. One of the tires is not to his standards to drive that far, which is better to stop than to blow one up. Well, it isn't terrible, but it's carrying a lot of weight. It's leaving a weird track, which is what he was concerned about when he'd get on the highway, which probably would remove a lot of rubber quickly. Well, just like that, we're pumped up. We went to 70. We'll do the air compressor, get her to 90. That little guy holds 90 pounds of pressure.
that would rearrange your face if that opened up. Okay, I'm heading her home.
Yeah. Well, hours have passed, but we been working on, well, Dad's been working on the diggers, pumping tires. How is crawling around?
It's not like it used to be. Look at that thing.
All automatic.
This ain't like it used to be neither.
What?
I miss checking the tire, then hooking the hose back up, then checking the tire.
What would you say is a reasonable amount of money for that?
Well, I'd like it if it was $60, but I'm sure it was $260.
I don't think it was that bad. I think it was $150. But it sure is a time saver.
Yeah, it definitely helps. So what do you want me to do now?
Okay, are you about done with the tires?
Yep, that was it.
Okay, hop in there, lower it down, and we're gonna try to put a new bolt in this hole. Right here. So, I've been down this road when these things are, what year are these? I think this is a 2012. The dirt and everything, it's becoming seized. This pin is becoming seized. This one did a long time ago. We ended up welding washers on the ends of this pin because it just kept breaking this bolt, and we just got sick of it and welded washers on there. This one is now starting to do it, and there's one down there that also is doing it. That one we got fixed already, but check these because, well, I speculate that this could break and then obviously this pin could fall out, but I think it's so seized in there that putting this in, it really don't matter, but we're gonna fix it up. Fire her up! Kinda hard to lower it with the safety stops in there. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, wondering why it won't go down. And it's like, huh? Be dang. That's working a lot better. Now we'll see if we can turn this. Ooh, it turns. Where'd I put the bolt at, guys? The bolt is missing. I just had it. I found it and I'm not saying where I put it. Yes, it was in my pocket. After the 5th time of checking, it magically appeared in there. Oh, it's plenty long, but it's gonna work. Good enough. So it was plenty tight, but it by was no means seized in there, but right in here where that's slowly pivoting is where I speculate that there's some rust taking place, and then it breaks that bolt. It's not the first time and it won't be the last, I'm sure. So we put these threaded rods here last summer to have a spare tire with, so we better go get a spare tire and make sure it's full of air. It looks absolutely beautiful outside, but it is quite cold.
Yeah, I gotta go get my phone.
Man, you got your shirt so dirty.
What is this? You know what I know what it is? Uh-huh, that's what it is. Somebody greased a digger last fall, and I've been seeing big gobs all over the shanks and on the shovels, and I suppose...
I see that you almost got the snow piles full of gravel to stay on the gravel instead of the grass.
I'm expanding the parking lot.
Perfect.
It looks worse than it is.
Sounds like an excuse.
It is. I'm actually a failure, and I wasn't able to perform the job properly.
Unreal. Well, at least you admit it.
Right.
I don't know if a failure seems a bit
That could be
excessive,
a little
but
extreme, but man's got to be willing to accept his shortcomings.
and he wouldn't let anyone else do it.
No, I wasn't. I'd have been pretty upset if that had been somebody else but me. Talking about people not being on the top of the game.
Oh boy. What?
Dad and Grandpa. How many years ago was this shed built? And they built it down in the lowest spot of the yard, and all the water runs down in it.
That's true. That is true. It is actually where, so all the water from really everywhere up there all runs right here, And then we actually kind of dug this out so it goes around the shed, but otherwise it literally goes through the shed.
It used to run through the shed, and that's no kidding. There was a little divot in the underneath the board that ran right out the back of the shed in the event of a big rain or the snow melt. Yeah?
This is heavy. You bet it is, Duggo. So my idea of having this on the digger is that I won't get a call when he has a flat tire.
We've got 2 more.
What do you mean 2 more?
2 more great big spare tires for the...
Well, we'll soon have none, I promise you that. I suppose we better pump this up, or wouldn't that be how all spares are? Yeah, I got a spare, but it's flat. Just like the one I'm trying to replace. Turn it on. This is a 90 PSI tire. Ooh. We're gonna set it to 90. Hit start. It blasts a little air, checks the pressure, and now it literally will pump up, and it stops every once in a while and checks the pressure. And it'll stop at 90. It's a pretty slick outfit. In fact, I'm gonna put that in the link in the description. That is not an ad at all. It's just, it's really nice. Really nice. And you're literally gonna get an Amazon link. Oh, I'm gonna feel that one. That hurt. Haha! Success! The studs are too long. That's annoying, but I think that's tight enough. So now we've never had this before. And I seen a guy on TikTok that had a tire on his digger, and I'm like, you know what? It's an awesome idea. So now we have one. I speculate that this is the first one that goes. Oh my goodness gracious. That's just unbelievable. One digger ready to go. I've got the tools in the cab that typically are used for when parts get destroyed, the common destruction parts. It's been greased before we parked it away. Tires are pumped. Looked over once again, fixed that bolt. I think besides putting some fuel on here, digger number 1's ready to roll. And I'm going to put some fuel on this, trying to get out of his way so he can unfold and we can pump the tires and hopefully have 2 done before the end of the day. Filling. Fast filling. Love this pump. What I really need to do is plumb it in so I can take out these are both the same red fuel, and it only sucks out of this tank currently, this big unit. And I want to be able to suck out of both because that literally pumps like 60 gallons a minute or something ridiculous like that. It's insane. What happens is everyone pulls out of this tank, and then this tank's empty, and that no one wants to use that one. So I'm sure I can get the stuff from Farm Chem because that's where I got the pump. If you guys have any interest in a pump or really anything on Farm Chem's website, go to the link in the description or just go to Farm Chem. Use code LARSON25, capital L, and that'll get you 5% off literally anything you order. You're welcome. You're welcome. I just saved you a bunch of money. She full. She's big. You think so? It's safe. It's safe to do this?
Oh yeah.
He promises us.
If we get snow, we're just gonna have to leave it.
Well,
You wouldn't believe how much gravel came out of there.
Who was running it last?
strange.
Yeah,
You got to do that. It lubricates the bearings when you get the rocks in there.
right. Cleans them up, sharpens them.
Well, we got 2 diggers ready, so tomorrow some fertilizer equipment, because typically you don't need a digger until the fertilizer is.
You want me to go spread them?
Well, maybe give her a day or 2 yet. There's some snow out
It's
there.
gonna look really different after this weekend.
Yes, it's starting. So It's pretty chilly today, but towards the end of this week, 70s
It's Tuesday.
and
right
40s at night. That's planting weather. That's like take your shirt off planting weather. That's beautiful.
now. I would, but we gotta turn the camera off if I did that. People-
Well, guys, I think that's a wrap. Feel pretty good having those ready to go. Obviously, we're not there, but we still have a lot of stuff to just get hooked up and dialed in. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you subscribe. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next time.